Here is a story that will help us understand a saying in Pirkei Avos, Perek Sheni, that we're learning this week. It says, "Vehevei zahir b'mitzvah kala kevachamura," that when it comes to do a seemingly light and easy mitzvah, we should be as careful as with a very serious mitzvah. Here is this story. There was once a king who had a hobby. He would like to go hunting. He would get dressed in plain, simple clothes and take his servants with him into the forest. The servants would lead him deep, deep into the forest where he can go hunting. It once happened, it was a very cold, wintry day, that after a few hours of hunting, the king noticed that he is all alone. "Where are my servants?" he called. "Servants, where are you?" No answer. "My servants, please come." There was no answer at all. Now the king had a problem. He did not know the directions to get back home from the forest. The servants always knew how to get out, but now he's all alone. Night was coming, and the king did not want to spend the night in a dangerous forest where there are wolves and other wild animals, especially that he can get frozen in this forest. So he started to quickly look around. Maybe he'll find his way out. But the more he went, the more he got lost, until he saw a light shining. He was so happy that in the darkness of the night, he sees a light. That means somebody lives here. Quickly got off the horse, approached a little hut, and knocked on the door. This was the hut in which Reb Chaim lived. Reb Chaim opened up the door and said, "Oh, hello, come right in." Reb Chaim did not recognize that this is the king because the king was dressed in plain clothes. "Come right in." "Yes, I can come in. I'm frozen to the bone. Please, let me spend the night here." "Of course, come right inside." He closed the door and he sat him down near the fireplace. Reb Chaim took out a piece of stale, dry bread and said to the king, not knowing this is the king, he said, "You know what? This is all I can serve you." "It's okay, I'm famished. I'm starving. Even a piece of hard, dry bread will also help me. If you want, I could also give you something to drink. I don't have a delicious soup, but I could put some water in a glass near the fireplace, and you'll have some warm water." "Yes, that will be great. Thank you so much." And the king dipped the dry bread into the water and ate it with a great appetite. When the king finished eating, he felt already warmed up and relieved. He felt much better. At that point, the king said, "Do you have a bed for me?" And Reb Chaim said, "I'll give you the best bed of the house." He took out a big, big sack of straw and put it down on the floor. He says, "You can lay down on the straw because that's exactly what I have in my bedroom. All I have is straw as a mattress." The king lay down and soon fell asleep. Early the next morning, the king woke up. When the king saw it's sunny and nice, he asked Reb Chaim, "What can I do to pay you for your hospitality?" Reb Chaim said, "You don't have to pay me anything. This is a great mitzvah. It's a mitzvah on a Jew to help anyone and to do hospitality. Can you give me an idea how to get out of this forest? I'm sure you make a lot of trips out of this forest." Reb Chaim gave him directions, and the king marked down the exact place where Reb Chaim lived. And the king left. About a week later, Reb Chaim received a summons, an invitation to appear before the king. Reb Chaim was shocked, surprised. "What does the king want from me? Did I do anything wrong?" So he said goodbye to his family, not knowing if he was ever going to see them again, and left to the king's palace. When he came to the palace, he showed the guards his invitation, and they brought him straight to the king's chamber. When he came to the king's chamber, was about to open the door, he prayed to Hashem that nothing bad should happen to him, because he doesn't recall doing anything wrong against the king or against the law. He then opened up the door, and the king saw him, got up from his throne, and started to hug him and kiss him, and says, "Rabbi, you saved my life. You saved my life." Reb Chaim looks at him in surprise. The king says, "Don't you recognize me?" "No." "Do you remember about a week ago, you had a visitor in the middle of the night, and you brought him in, and you gave him to eat and to drink and to sleep?" "Yes, I do remember." "Well, that was myself. That was me. That was I. I was lost in the forest, and you brought me into your house." "What? Then I have to ask you for forgiveness, because His Majesty deserves more than a dry piece of bread and just some water and a mattress made out of straw." "It's okay. You didn't have anything more. You did the best. You did the best in your power. And therefore I want to reward you. Here I prepared a big sack of golden coins for you. Please take it as a token of appreciation, for you saved me from staying out in the forest that night. You really saved my life." Reb Chaim did not want to accept the reward, but the king insisted. So Reb Chaim took the golden coins. The king had him escorted with royal drivers on horses. They brought him home. Reb Chaim took the money and was able to tear down his house, his little hut, and built up a beautiful, beautiful home for himself and his family. Once the house was ready, he decided to make a Chanukas Habayis, to make a kind of Farbrengen, to celebrate his entering into this new house. During this Farbrengen, during this party, Reb Chaim said, "This is all from the ways of Hashem. Hashem is constantly watching us, and Hashem provided me with riches by having the king coming to my house. And do you know what I served the king? All I served him was a piece of hard bread. I served him a glass of water, and I gave him some straw to sleep on. And for this, the king rewarded me with all the money that will be good for me for the rest of my life." One of the people who were there at the party was a Yid by the name Reb Yankel. Reb Yankel ran home and said to his wife, Fegele, Fegele, we have a solution. We're not going to have to live in poverty anymore. We're not going to live as poor people. I know exactly how to become rich now. What do you mean? I was just by the party that Reb Chaim made, and he said the king gave him a big sack of golden coins in return of just 3 little things: a piece of dry bread, a glass of water, and some straw. So let me take a little box, and I'm going to pack that up nicely and bring it to the king, and I'll also get rich. The king will surely reward me. His wife, who was a simple woman, did not think that he's making a mistake, and she took a little box and she helped him prepare with a piece of hard bread, a glass of water, and some straw, and closed it up in this box. Reb Yankel went straight to the king's palace and told the guards he has a gift for the king. When he was facing the king looks at him and says, Yes, how can I help you? He says, Here is a gift for you. The king opens up the little box and sees over there a piece of dry bread, a glass of water, and some straw. The king says, What is this? Can you explain? Is this like a riddle or something? He says, No. His Majesty the King appreciates this. Last week, I was by a party, and I heard that the king rewarded my friend Chaim with a big sack of gold because he gave the king a piece of hard bread, a glass of water, and some straw. The king is trying to think, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? Says, well, do you remember once you were stuck in the forest and Reb Chaim took you in? Ah, that's what you're talking about. Sure, I remember that. He even saved my life. Well, I'm doing the same thing because I want the king to reward me with a big sack of gold. Now the king, who was a very kind-hearted person and very understanding, he said to Reb Yankel, I see you trying very hard. I'm going to give you a gift. I'm not going to give you the same gift that I gave to Reb Chaim. Why? Because you have to understand, when I was in a cold, bitter, cold forest at night when it's dark, and Reb Chaim took me into his house, I was desperate. I needed that piece of bread, even though it was dry and hard. I needed desperately that drink. I needed a place to sleep, and he gave me straw. But here in the palace, do I need dry bread? I have the best food. I have the best drinks, and I have the most comfortable bed. But since you have good intentions, I'm going to give you something. Reb Chaim got a big, big reward because he helped me when I was desperate. And the king gave a gift to Reb Yankel to take home, which was very pleasing to him. This story will explain us what it means when the Chachamim say that B'chol Makom Shegolu Yisrael Shechina Imahem. Wherever the Yidden are in Galus, Hashem is with them. And the Shechina, Hashem's presence, is here with us every second of the day, and night. And in this dark, dingy galus that we are in, the Shekhinah, Hashem's presence, is knocking at our door and saying to us, please, please let me into your house. This dark, dingy galus with all of the suffering. It's dark. It's bitter. But let me into your house and you will get rewarded. But we think, how can we let Hashem into our house? What do I have to offer him? I just have a little piece of dry bread. I just have one little mitzvah to do. Is that going to make Hashem comfortable in my house? By doing just a seemingly easy mitzvah? And for this Hashem says, yes, now in the time of Galus, even the smallest thing you do from Torah and mitzvahs, make a phone call to a friend, say an extra kapitel Tillim, or do an act of Avos Yisrael, learn an extra line of Chumash, do some extra mitzvah, give more tzedakah. Don't underestimate how precious it is to Hashem right now in the time of Galus. Once Mashiach comes, then it's like we're all by the king's palace. Then Hashem is not so desperate because Hashem goes out of Galus together with the Yidden. Will be days of light, happiness, and joy. But now, in the very last moments of Galus, Hashem is knocking at every Jewish door, saying, please let me in your house. Make me feel comfortable in your house. Do mitzvahs. Have a sefer on your table that you can learn from time to time. And by doing these mitzvahs, even though you think it might be small, you should know for Hashem, this is so precious. And Hashem will reward us greatly when Mashiach comes. So let's do the best we can. And even if it might seem small in your eyes, in Hashem's eyes, this is very, very precious. Now we can understand the meaning of Heve Zoher b'mitzvah kalo kevachamura. Be as careful as you are with a very serious mitzvah, just like you are with a seemingly small mitzvah, because everything counts in the eyes of Hashem, and He pays us, rewards us, not only when Mashiach comes, rewards us now with everything that we need. Number one, good health for every member of the family and for the entire Jewish people, and parnasa, a good livelihood, and all the brachas we need. The most important bracha, that He should send us Mashiach Tzidkenu, will take us out of this galus and bring us to the happy days of Geula immediately. Amen.